Yo,
What's up, my man?
what's up, dude? Uh, hey, man, I've been reading some interesting things. Looking at some interesting things. Was privy to some information I'd not been privy to previously, and it really something kind of. But my mind has been really focused on this area of, for me specifically, for me personally, like does my life reflect what I'm passionate about? Does my life, like, do I take action in the areas that I'm truly passionate about? And this goes beyond family, right? I think like the family, the household, there's things that we do, especially in the Kinetic Man, that that we are taking tons of action. And then we talk about things like, going fishing and doing things like that to kind of bring our to bring our to help center ourselves and give ourselves life and energy and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is some of our some of our giving to like human trafficking organizations, and I've been personally thinking about things like freedom of speech versus First Amendment rights versus Second Amendment rights, and like how there's this weird dichotomy there, and how people will defend one over the other to the to an extreme. And then something hit just yesterday, this weekend, and it really kind of brought it back into focus and where we place our passions, and how they manifest. And then you put a post that is related as well. But this weekend I was watching the CU CSU game. It's a rivalry game. There was a late hit, dude. There's late hits in football. There's things that happen, right? And I'm not an advocate for late hits, for dirty play, any of that kind of stuff. But just things happen, right? It's a passionate game. And so this safety hit this star two-way player, Travis Hunter, and basically dude went down, had to go to the hospital, and has a lacerated liver, and he's out for 3 weeks. Right? Lacerated liver sounds like that sounds really, really terrible, but I mean, it's an injury that happens in UFC and sports, contact sports. It happens, right? And no way could this dude on CSU like be like, oh, I'm gonna hit him in a certain way to lacerate his liver. Like that's just not the
Purposefully
way
deliver. Yeah.
to purposely do that, right? Was it a late hit? Yep. Was it blatant? Yeah, all that stuff. But come to find out, this kid is now he's a college kid playing a children's game. Football's a children's game. I love football. I'm passionate about it. I coach the fifth graders. It's a kid's game. It's a game, right?
Yeah.
He's getting death threats. And so I think of that. So I started thinking about that, and I was like, wow, what if people put so much passion into something like human trafficking, or caring about things that are actually relevant, relevant to their lives. And it just kind of hit me that we have all these passions, and they're so, and really, I want to be introspective on this. Where are my passions? How do they manifest? What am I doing to be a better steward of time, effort, money, uh, talents, all these things? How am I doing it? So this is not an indictment on anybody else. If unless you are a person who sends death threats, then you're an idiot and you deserve to be in jail, right? Like you should absolutely be put in a place that people who send death threats are, because it's so silly to me that there's this level of, and you see it. And let's be more serious about it. Well, I guess death threats are pretty serious, but even more to the point, like you look at something in our own country as a retired military members, this whole thing, the January 6th thing, right? Like all politics aside, wherever you sit on that, the fact that our democratic institutions, this country, is a beacon of light for, or at least those of us that serve feel this way. I do. I shouldn't speak for you. Um, but our democratic institutions were under attack over some crazy, passionate, mostly misguided things, right? And so you look at how these things manifest, and it's just been very interesting to me as I reflect on how my life and how I'm modeling for my kids, how you do something kinetic, how you act, put to action the areas of your life that you're truly passionate about, or that you say you're passionate about. And would somebody be able to observe your life and say, oh, wow, like he stands for this?
Yeah, man. I'm actually in the process. I have the book right here. It's interesting. We're bringing this topic up. It's Dad Tired by Jerry Lopes. We're going to have him on our podcast in about a month. And he talks about something very similar in that. I think um, men uh, men are bored. I'll just say it. And he talks about it in the book. We read it in Wild at Heart by John Etheridge. Uh, and there was a CNN article that just came out about, loneliness. Um, we are finding idols in the wrong places. We are, and you can put idols and passions kind of in the same, category there.
Well, it's an outlet, right? It's
It's an
an
outlet.
outlet. A misplaced focus, an
Yeah.
outlet.
Yeah. And, money is an outlet for men. Pornography is an outlet for men. Football, it, college football, NFL, fantasy football, like, doing death threats, like that's an outlet. Our work, our job, that could be an outlet. And these are things that we go to because we haven't really figured out what our true passions are, what our true purpose is, what God
Well,
called
most
us
of
to
them are
do.
escapist activity, right? It's characterized as classified as escapist activity to pour so deeply into something that's external to your life to escape whatever it is you're trying to escape. Most of us don't even know what that is, but it's escapist behavior.
Yeah, and if you think about the business side of those outlets, the people that are running those outlets, it's making them money. There is science behind social media and fantasy football and pornography, and all these things are tied to someone running it, and there's algorithms and there's science and there's this thing called dopamine. They're all things that are trying to get your attention. Like the currency these days is attention. The currency is attention, and like people know how to get it. People know how to get you to pour into that stuff, and it's all the wrong stuff. And so like how do we change that? How do we as men change that to pour into the right stuff, to like you said, like figure out your passions and take action on those, to go like do something about it. Good. Make some change in this good in the world.
Yeah, man. And it's pretty fascinating in all the ways that this really infects our society and really affects us. And I could say, and I thank God for this, like I am not bored. I'm very rarely am I bored. And that's not because I'm busy. It honestly is a direct correlation to my friends and you specifically, right? Like the things we do on Thursdays, the fact that we have time set aside to go do things like mountain bike and fishing and this and that, and even hang out, break bread, have coffee, whatever it is. Well, I also have that with any number of the dudes in the Kinetic Man. There's, even it's a phone call or a Zoom, like I'll Zoom some of these guys. I'll pick up the phone, I'll talk to them. And oftentimes those conversations go like 30 minutes. I plan for 15, they go an hour and 15, right? And it's because we enjoy that time. And that's an hour 15 that could go somewhere else. Or if I'm truly bored, that's an hour 15 that could go to something, much less productive or meaningful than actually spending time growing a relationship. All those conversations, you can learn something new about someone that, I mean, I could learn something new. I learned something new about you anytime we go do something, right? Like you can, if you open yourself to that, you absolutely can do that. You can do that in your marriage. The idea that your wife or your kids intimately and everything about them is a silly idea. We're very, very complicated individuals. And so, it's the challenge is to realign your passions, or actually step one, like what are you truly passionate about? Do you even know what you're passionate about? And if it's football, it's then here's an idea. If you're passionate about football, like I love football, and I'll tell you, this has changed my view of football. It has changed my entire interaction with the game. I'm passionate about football, so I coach it now. That's the action item. I coach it. I coach the fifth grade team, and that has changed my attitude. It has changed how angry I get during games I watch that I used to be super passionate about that I don't even play in. I mean, the Raiders, like, should I really be that passionate about how the Raiders are playing? Like, I've never been on the Raiders. I'm not part of their staff. It has no effect on my life. And yet I'm willing to expend energy and a ton of emotion and even anger and negativity over a game. No, dude, now that I coach, I'm loving on these boys. I'm watching them. I'm being an example for that. Now I know my responsibility. My passion in this game is to teach them things like respect, teamwork, how to face adversity, toughness, right? To be able to get up after you get knocked down. perseverance, fitness. And then I also get to model sportsmanship and being a gentleman. I use that word with these 10-year-olds all the time. Like, hey, we're gentlemen. I'm telling you, go knock that kid on his butt and then put your hand down and help him up. Right. And say, good game, whatever. Like, you're teaching all these lessons. So if you're truly passionate about something, then do something about it. Right. Like, go coach and see what happens. If you're passionate about your marriage, and stop looking at porn and pour that energy into your marriage, and try to pour that passion into your marriage. I mean, there's so many things that, if you're passionate about politics, then do some research, like read a book. I actually understand the other side, have some critical thought, be able to have conversation, like do something to guide your passions down a path that is actually productive. And it can make a world of difference, because that's what it's all about. What are you doing about it? Oh, I hate human trafficking. Okay, awesome. Me too. Like, what do you do about that? Do you know any organizations? Have you talked to anybody who's founded that? Have you ever done one step beyond saying, oh, I feel strongly about this thing? And if you haven't, that's the challenge, right? Because not only are we challenging you not to be, not to delude yourself or be delusional about these things you're passionate about, but it also, the gifts that you get back in living in a passion and contributing, and the gifts that you give can be life-changing and life-giving and absolutely transformative. I have literally changed as a man the way I pursue and look at sports and competition through coaching, and it's made me better. Now, there are examples of dudes that are worse, but it has made me personally much, much better.
Love it, man. And if you want to get varsity with it, like surround yourself with other men that are doing the same thing and having these type of conversations, right? And challenging each other to be better in these areas, and challenging each other to not use pornography as an outlet, not use, football as an outlet, video games, your work, like put your priorities first and take action on that stuff. That's the Kinetic Man. And we would love for you to join us on that journey of being better husbands, being better fathers, being better friends and leaders in the community, and actually go do something about it and make this world a better place. If that's interesting to you, go to thekineticman.com. Check us out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Good chat, my friend.
You too,
Good chat, my friend. Go live your passions.
See ya.
Love you.
You too. No, but seriously.
You said you too. You know what? Just sign it off. You didn't say I love you too. You said you too.
David.
That's one step past saying, hey, I love you. Oh, thanks. One step past it. I'm out of here.
David, I love you too, buddy.
Oh, thanks, man.
Let's go hug it out.
Let's go.
Okay, bye.
Peace.